Anyway, that's the thing about this real TV. The idea of realize to actualize is it begins with recognizing yourself and your own nature. You know what you know. And so this also then you know what you don't know. Which you then find out as you, well, as you, it's like I'm speaking at others, but basically what I'm saying here is I am learning that for myself. I need to learn that for myself. I need to practice that for myself. I know what I know for myself. And you know what it is you know for yourself. But until you share it, it's basically just, it stays within. It's lost. And so I'm at the point now in my life where I'm just starting to share my own knowledge, my own awareness. And so like this is just a new beginning. There's still something, I realize that in me that, well, in me it's about me, but I don't share yet. Well, in reality, real TV, just talking about reality and how it is for me, of course it's different for me what's real for you, and so, but that reality, but that experience, how you experience for yourself, that's through this you create. I mean, I'm just speaking here for myself to see how that is, how I have been isolating myself for a very, very long time. I refer to my path, moving from Germany at the age of 24, and then getting married to somebody here in America, a lady from a different culture and ethnicity, and I was thrown into a whole new world, having 3 children. We lived in Kansas and it was terrible. It was like we were fighting all the time. She was analyzed with bipolar. When problems started, everybody turned their back on us, so that was very, very difficult for me. And that was actually the first woman I ever was with in my entire life. And she was 7 years older, and she knew exactly who she was and what she wanted and how she wanted the marriage, and she arranged for everything and invited all her friends. And there I was, this German guy in the middle of well, mostly all black people. Not to say anything against it, I love the black culture, but wow, which was very challenging, to say the least. But I also learned a lot through that, and this really inspired. Beginning when I first started to study about personal development, and in the beginning I didn't realize the implications of that. Basically, the idea that you cannot change people, you got to work on yourself, and that's what it's about. And for a long time I tried to change her because she was just so difficult for me to deal with, and she wasn't really able to be there for me. And she needed me to be there different for her. And I became aware of my own patterns. As I started using a voice recorder, and I actually did use a voice recorder for the majority of our marriage. Since I had nobody really to talk to, I began to start this dialogue with myself. Eventually I heard my own patterns. And how I kept on complaining about the same thing over and over. For the longest time I was just arguing with the woman I was married to, and even in front of my children. Really the worst came out. It was really, really tough. But yeah, I had to go through this. I attracted that. I realized that. And there are still some scars, of course, which is why I keep to myself. You know, refer to this as a passive forced detachment. And after my divorce was finalized, I was just about to move from Kansas to San Francisco to be with my children who were already in the city. I got hit by a car the next day, and I saw that changed everything again, just like that. When I first arrived here in San Francisco, finally 6 months after I got hit by a car in Kansas, I was in a hospital, and I was actually in a shelter for a while, for about 2 months or 3 months in Kansas. And then when I moved here to San Francisco, I had about $150 in my pocket. But I had to move here to be with my children and to go to court to file for visitation with my own children. Again, another long story. But yeah, anyway, that's how it was for me, and I learned through that, and I went through that, and I had to go through that. That was then, and this is now. That's all there is. I'm just like trying to clear the air a little bit. Get ready for a new beginning. Actually, already beginning anew. That's what it's about, the now, and I talk about that. I realize that. But the actualization, that's a little bit more tricky. So I'm practicing. That's basically what I'm doing here. And I suggest you do the same thing. Whatever it is you want to learn, whatever it is you want to change or improve upon or work on, Practice. Just practice. That's all you got to do. And that's what, again, the second part of the actualization is of realize to actualize. Practicing what it is you've learned. But it begins with becoming aware of what it is you know. And what it is you want to know, what it is you want to change, to realize that. Anyway, I'm talking way too much, so just let it sit. Just think about it for a bit, and if you're curious to learn more, I would be definitely very happy to talk to you further.